Welcome everyone to another episode of Next Level Humans. I have Samantha here, which I met, I think it's been 2 years now, Samantha, around 2 years ago. And she's an entrepreneur, she's a founder. I am looking forward to hearing her story, where you are on VNCCII, Vinci. You will talk more about it. How about, Samantha, introducing yourself to our listeners and anyone watching us on YouTube?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And also
thanks for being here.
Yeah, and thank you to Luke for the introduction. It's amazing through community and the network effect. We find each other at the end of the day, and I enjoy listening to your podcast. So for everyone that's listening and watching, hi, I'm Samantha Tauber. I'm an Australian living in London. My mission / artistic project's called Vinci, spelled VNCCII. Inspired by Leonardo da Vinci and the concept of being a polymath, and trying to understand the nature of being a seeker of life. Now, when I started the project in 2018, I wasn't fully consciously aware of how big the mission was. It was originally the alter ego for like a music project, a stage persona. But what's emerged from the process has been transformative. And it's become an entire world-building, immersive futures project that's meant to help serve as a bridge towards our future as a human species, one where we understand ourselves, we self-realize, we realize we're all interconnected, we step into our sovereign power, and technology is used as a force for good.
Yeah, so would you explain us more about the product, Vinci? Like where you are on the product and how you started, and because you're in phase 4 now, phase 5?
Yeah, like literally pre-seed stage. I mean, this is all generated as a cottage industry creative. I'm proud of how far this project's come over the years, and I'm definitely at a stage now where I'm looking to expand the universe and the team. It takes a village to achieve any mission in life, but I think now I've set a very strong foundational framework with strong ethics for what this project really is, and what I discovered. So originally Vinci, as I mentioned, was the stage alter ego persona, and I created an avatar character. But that led me down the path of like the word avatar coming from ancient Sanskrit word avatara and our consciousness, and also realizing that storytelling is a gift, and it's a modality, it's a power to lead to real societal, behavioral, transformative change. And so I've grown up inspired by just any sort of world-building project like Harry Potter or Star Wars or Star Trek, anything that can inspire consciousness of humanity. And, I also grew up, with a lot of dystopian fiction, and I saw the change it had on society, not always positive. Maybe it's good as a didactic warning, but it very much shaped for me going, this is not a future we want to, or at least I don't want to live in. And then realizing just the democratization of technology, how accessible it is to create stories. And with that comes real power, and that's within all of us. And so coming with self-realization and a deep desire to drive humanity forward to a positive future, I'm deploying the tools of technology to tell stories. And so now I'm at a stage where Vinci is going to expand the whole world-building project. I wrote a science fiction novel during the pandemic, which is a whole other story in itself, and led on this divine hero's journey of synchronicities to now it manifesting in the book actually going to the moon at the end of the year, as part of NASA's Astrobotic's Griffin landing mission, and basically leading me and guiding me to connect with people that are becoming my soul family and tribe and community, that understand the inherent vision of this project, and I can co-create with them. And I find it's very much also in the space community, because it's the realization that we're on spaceship Earth.
And you're also part of a very nice community. Shall we talk a little bit about your community and your vision as a community, and your vision and your mission as a community?
Definitely. Well, the idea with the project is like I introduced the law and the blueprint of like this is a way to lead and live a life in the future. But then I open it up, the framework, to create derivative narratives and storylines that interweave and intersect into this beautiful cosmic tapestry of realization and interconnectedness. So I'm now trying to create the frameworks and the tools to empower people to co-create and contribute to the story. But it has to start with, you know, the original seed and manifesto and code for how we see the future.
How do you see the future, Samantha?
And it's forever evolving, and that's a great question. I'd love to ask you as well how you see the future, but it definitely leads on nicely from what I was saying earlier about crew human, like spaceship Earth. The gentleman that wrote the foreword for my book, his name's Frank White. He wrote the book, The Overview Effect, in the 1980s. And I feel like it's just even getting momentum in today's zeitgeist, which is crazy given the book's been out since the 80s.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like inspired by Earthrise and that photo of the Earth from the moon, and just that beautiful, you know, realization that it's like spaceship Earth and we need to nurture Mother Earth and treat each other like family, you know, not see each other as borders and divisions. And so Frank was generous enough and had the foresight enough to open my book with the foreword to say, even though this is, you know, a bit of a children's story or young adult fiction story, the universal truths remain and connects with the philosophy of the overview effect. And I know it sounds simple, but it's still very hard for us to still achieve that in today's day and age as a human species. But I feel like that's the future we need to strive for if we're going to become citizens of intergalactic citizens, right?
Yeah. And we're moving. I think we're moving forward to that, and AI will be a big part of tomorrow, as you know. And how do you see the, I will say, combination of AI and humans? Because at one point, that's what's going to happen in the future. That's very clear. So AI, humans, human AI. How do you see the concept over there? Like how are we going to merge with AI and technology as humans?
That's a very deep question, and very much as well at the nucleus of this project, and something that is forever evolving and dynamic in my understanding and my seeker, you know, trying to understand what a healthy future would look like with AI. You know, it's inevitable, artificial intelligence, right? But the idea is that we're still, as humans, coming into our own understanding of consciousness and the power of heart coherence and the field. And so I think it comes down to intentions and alignment. And there's a great book called Raising AI by Takai. I'm reading it now. And the book is basically...
Raising children, and now it's raising AI.
Yeah. It's like, basically the philosophy of the book is we're like the last human generation to get it right, to consciously parent AI. Like, the way the book phrases it is like it's our cyber children at the moment. The way we need to relate with it, it learns from us, just like we learn from our parents. So we don't want to create like intergenerational trauma for the AI because then it will have second and third generational AI. And
I'm sad to say, but I think we already did. AI is already traumatic if you're using AI in your everyday affairs, in your everyday practice. You see that it is already getting a bit even toxic at one point, which is inevitable because we humans do toxicate everything we touch, and I think that's inevitable. That's like, it's like that should be part of our wisdom to understand that we toxicate everything we touch, and we kill, and killing is part of giving birth. As long as we keep on giving birth, we will be killing. And that's kind of like two sides of being human. That's like polarity, and the idea should always be how to manage between those, how to find ways to evolve and grow in that kind of like polarity. So that's why I'm asking, like, where do you see us?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying. I see things also through a spiritual lens, so I feel like it's another test. It's like the big one for us, because it's literally a mirror, and it's showing, our value set, but it's also like mirror neuroning us, and so it's leading us as well to grow spiritually, to understand discernment. I mean, we can't even work out discernment between humans still, and like what is truth with a capital T. So, we are in this twilight zone field era at the moment, but I just, when you have that deep knowing with a capital K, I mean, that's just part of my spirit, I suppose. I feel like you just feel it deeply that things are going to be okay, because it has to be. And so we just have to make it that way. And I think, it's all about doing the inner work as humans, and like seeing it through an overview effect, which is always hard when you're in the middle of it, but as a blessing, the blessing that it's kind of encouraging us to speed up and to, really bring things to the surface on a human level, and like on a societal level. Like all the systems, feels like things are crumbling down. From, as you mentioned, the whole like death, rebirth, there's an energy of rebirth as well. And when you talked about the concept of toxicity, it's that concept of encouraging the rise of the divine masculine rather than the toxic, or divine feminine, just both of it. And it's not pertaining to a particular gender. It's within us all, but it's kind of like, it's encouraging us to step up as humans, step up and show the AI what it really means, like what was in the original, like divine blueprint for what it means to be human. And that's about us respecting ourselves as a human species. If we can't respect ourselves as humans, how can the AI respect us? It's kind of like parents and children. Children respect their parents if the parents respect themselves. And so, it's definitely from a philosophical lens, but, I see it's exciting. At the same time, it can feel fearful, but when you feed the energy of fear, I feel like you're feeding the beast. So it doesn't serve anyone. So you've got to see it through a lens of like a blessing and through a lens of love. I feel like that's the only way energetically for us to truly integrate in a healthy way with AI. And I feel like the AI can serve us in a great way, and it also can be like a system of like our intentions consciously. Like, is your intention truly to like contribute healthy value to yourself and society, and not be greedy, but and not feed the fear narrative, and do you have genuine compassion for yourself, genuine compassion for humanity? I don't have the answers.
Neither do I. I do have a clear vision, and I do have clear insights for the future and what's coming. It's, in my opinion, it's neither fearful, but nor positive, nor neither negative. It is going to be a very fearful and negative experience for those who can't govern themselves, but the world has been a fearful experience and has been very challenging for people who cannot govern themselves for centuries now. It's like people have been slaves, people have been tortured, people have had all kinds of accidents and sicknesses and illnesses, and we had war, and we had this, we had that. So for individuals who have not yet mastered themselves, who are not, like you said, in full respect of who they are as humans, and who are at war with themselves will be reflecting at war. It's inevitable. And who are in fear will be reflecting that, and challenging times are ahead of us for those people. But those who are committed to and dedicated to self-mastery, who can govern themselves, who have self-respect, and who are clearly connected authentically with what it means to be human. I think exciting times are ahead. I am experiencing an amazing speed in my businesses around the world, in how I live my life. It's like, and there has been research, you probably have read those researches, like time did speed up. It's like the world has been turning faster and faster, and there are researches around that. A lot of researches that the world did speed up, and that's why time did speed up. So for me, when I think about my 40 years ago, when I was in my first 10 years as a child, life was much more slower. But my thinking process was also slower. So in high school and when I was 15, 16, now, because I'm someone who dedicated her life to self-mastery and being connected with what is in the moment, I am connected with that speed, and that's just amazing. It's like finding solutions in less than a second, finding the answers in less than a second. And if you're meditating like me, and if you're doing spiritual practices daily like me, you get the answers and you evolve less than a second. It's like the evolution is so fast for those who are on self-mastery path. It's such a blessing. And with AI, I think our minds, AI is also challenging our minds. It's like we are challenging AI, and AI is challenging us. And for those who are in the self-mastery path, our minds have speeded up. The way we find solutions, the way we work, and the way we create. It's just everything is fast, which is a blessing. But for those who couldn't keep up with that, low frequencies, it's... Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I was just feeling so deeply everything you were saying. I feel like it's a big thing to take on, like, the truth. I mean, whatever the truth is. But when you kind of feel aligned and just respectful of yourself and your journey, and really like on soul mission, like things, you're right, like really speed up. And all of a sudden, it's like you feel this support from the universe, your guides, your angels, and you're connecting with people around the world, and you feel like this connection, like I've known them before, and like I don't even have to say anything. It's just a feeling, it's just a frequency, and it's just like this deep love for humanity. It's very powerful, and I feel like just personally I've experienced this even just in the last couple of years, and even now it's accelerating. And you're like, I mean, how can you say like that like magic's not real? You know what I mean? When you just having all these synchronicities and connecting with people. Like for instance, like the book Going to the Moon, like I wrote the story during the lockdown time in Australia, and the climax of the book is where Vinci ends up on the moon for various reasons connected to the Earth. I won't give away the plot, but the grid of the Earth and consciousness and things like that. But yeah, when I connected with Interstellar Foundation, and they're about sending messages to space inspired by the Golden Record, I was invited to be a keynote speaker on Zoom, and they had another keynote speaker. Shout out Bruce Ha, if you're listening. He owns Nanofiche, he's the inventor of it. And just by like chance, we went to another Zoom room and we ended up talking, and we were both like, where is the audience? Where is everyone? But for some reason we got both sent the wrong link, and everyone else was waiting for us to talk because we're both keynotes. But we just, as soon as we got in the Zoom room, virtual room, it was like a connection. and hearing what we both are doing in our mission. And he was like, one of my key characters in my story is called Prince Vi. It's like the MacGuffin of the story, kind of like the baby Yoda, like the inner child connection, just also the purity and the children of humanity, but the inner child. And when I told Bruce that, he was like, my daughter's called Sophie because I love like Sophie, like pie and fire, and he loves like the Da Vinci Code, and like I called my project Vinci, and it just felt like it was meant to be. And then, that's how the opportunity came to send the book to the moon. And like, that's just one example.
Yeah, for those who don't know, because I know this story very well, but for our listeners and anybody who's watching us on YouTube, so Samantha's book, the book she wrote, is going to the moon and will be dropped on the moon for other generations to find it hundreds of years from now on. Yeah, it is very exciting.
It's like, for me, and like I'm sure everyone can resonate with this, it's like a milestone.
Samantha is not going to the moon, but her book is going to the moon.
Yeah, the story, nanofiche is the material, it's meant to last 1 billion years. It's part of a galactic library, preservation for humanity, but just too many serendipities, like the climax is on the moon, it's on the moon. Also, like telling your younger self, as in I would be talking to my younger self now, writing that in Australia during the lockdown, like, this is not a nothing story. Like, what you're doing has purpose. You know what I mean? Like, what you are creating now it's not just about the story. Like that's just one thing. It's really about the people you're going to meet, the connections you're going to make, how it's going to be one thing that leads to another, and a deeper discovery into yourself and your soul mission and your purpose. So keep going.
Yeah, and we're living in such an era that everything, all these conversations and everything we ever talked about, written, everything will be passed on to the next and the next and the next generations, which is very, very special. And it is going to be updated. That's also very special, because hundreds of years back, even though the language changed, the spiritual books and what has been written hundreds of years ago, we hardly can understand, because language changed, the way we describe things changed. But now we have a way with technology for the information to stay updated. I think that's kind of like, that's what excites me the most with AI, because we can literally keep the information, what is now, here and now, updated for 300 years in the future, which is, I think, brilliant. Because if the language and the information stay like this, as if today, 300 years, in the future, nobody will understand what we have been talking about.
Well, that's
because
right.
It's going to be updating. It's just so amazing, because we just don't understand what has been written in all that spiritual practices, spiritual books 300 years ago, 500 years ago, and now we have a chance to, update our information.
Wow. Yeah, when you were speaking, I was thinking, like, what preserves is the essence. It's almost like you can feel it coming from the text. Like, I mean, I wish I could speak languages. I mean, it's funny, the only language I taught myself at school was Latin. I mean, that has kind of helped, but, I'm thinking about in the future, how do they communicate? Now, of course, technology, AI, I mean, there's the whole BCI, brain-computer interface path. I mean, it's all helpful. I mean, even now, AI agents are translating for us and going to talk with other agents. But as human beings, and the way I see a future human, is like, we don't even have to use words. It's almost like you can, like, even in today, you can feel the frequency or essence of someone. And that would just be like magnified even more as like the whole planet organic grid kind of becomes more aligned and loving and aware. I mean, this is just a vision. but I could just picture that's the natural evolution. Like it feels like
we are in need of, we are less and less in need of our bodies. That's just happening, you know. It's like like when you think of 200 years in the past, 300 years, humans needed their bodies like muscle, and you know, we would walk, we would carry stuff, you know, and then with cars and with highways and psychology, and now we're just sitting at home working and literally connecting with you know, the whole world, and where we're in need of we're less and less in need of our bodies. That's why I think our bodies are also changing shape and changing dimension. So I think in the next 100 years, I see humans more of a brain body than a body brain. So the body will probably be smaller. The head or the brain will be bigger. I don't know. Like, I think the form of humans will also be changing, and the alien figures in the films, like you know, the alien figures, like the big heads and the small lean bodies like leaves, kind of like I don't know, like that's my vision for humanity in the next 200 years. Bodies, because we don't use the body anymore, we use the mind and the brain more. The head will be bigger, just like the alien photos, and the body will be just leaner and softer and probably like leaves. Probably won't eat much. That's why people have been changing their diets to it. I hear more and more people saying, I eat once a day, I eat twice a day. So it's like we probably will only eat once a week or something. So it's like it's changing. And my vision in my clear mind, those aliens that we are connected with are us in the future. So that alien photos, they're just us, you know, our humanity in the future.
I feel like another reason, just to add another dimension as well, if you believe like why souls, you know, come in this time and continuum, besides the crux of
it's what the most transformative time.
It's so transformative, but also like why come as human, right? It's not just to be in our head. I feel like there's a key component there to still like, it's a journey of honoring the body and embodiment to activate the full experience of being human. I think we're missing out still if it's still just like in the mind, because everything's field and frequency, and so I think, you know, that's something to celebrate. You know, it's like a curious thing, like have the full experience, like from like grounding with Mother Earth and bring that to the divine, and also from the divine bring that sense of knowledge and knowing and ground that to Mother Earth. And so like that's the process.
Yeah, I think because of my age, I have seen different generations, and the generations before me and my generation and your generation. When you look at 3 generations, it's like I can see the evolution of humans in how light humanity became and how lighter and lighter. It's like when I was a child, adults and humans were much dense and physical, and a lot in the physical bodies that, you know, the physical experience, the 5 senses experience. But now, with evolution, with AI, and with understanding the delusion of 5 senses, the 5 senses in the body, and that they're all managed with the brain, and that's an illusion, like an illusionary experience in the world. I think we're getting freer and freer from the 5 senses and the bodily experience. And humanity's evolution is through, like, just, you know, transforming into more and more light. Because I can see that's already happening.
Oh.
It's like the density has gone to more lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. And the new next generations, like when I look at my daughters and myself when I was their age and the previous generation, they're much more lighter. So you're a lighter generation than us and the generation before. So that's already happening. I think that's why I see it in my vision, that the body is getting lighter and lighter, like a leaf, just floating in the air.
Yeah, I see that. I feel like I see a lot of babies. Like, I mean, we all do, but like as a younger woman coming of age, like you really notice babies around this age. You're like thinking, babies could be nice. But I look at them and they're like staring at me so deeply, and like I look in their eyes and I'm giggling because I'm like, I get it. Like, I totally get it. Like, it must be great. Being totally unprogrammed by society, like coming in.
Yeah, I mean, yes and no. I usually laugh at people who think babies are naive and like all this, sweet. There's such evil as well. Like they know everything and they literally manipulate their parents. And it's so powerful. So when you go with two kids at least, you see that babies are not innocent as most people think, or naive.
Fair point. Yeah, but when I see that's a good point. But when I see babies or young kids, that childlike, unbridled imagination and just that purity of spirit. And there's a difference between childlike and childish. I had a very blessed, amazing childhood where I could fully stretch the imagination, and I still strive every day to be like that younger self, actually, which I wish that for everyone. And it's just like I'm in awe of the souls that come to this planet at such a young age. They're so wise. I'm like, wow, where is this wisdom, this celestial wisdom coming from? And when I see them, I feel very inspired. I kind of it's a good nudge for reaffirming why I love doing what I'm doing and striving for this, because I'm trying to create conscious content to inspire that generation as well. I mean, all generations, but particularly trying to help be that bridge for a world that they're going to grow up in, that they're going to be energized about.
Lovely. Samantha, it was lovely speaking to you. It's been, we're past the hour, half an hour. Anything you want to add to us 2025?
I mean, thank you so much for having me. I just really, really honor and value your work and in your podcast. And I also, I heard your episode with Abby Loeb, and blessed to have Abby in my orbit as well. And you're creating an amazing community of conscious evolvers. And I don't really have much more to add, just to say that I'm humbled and blessed to be here and be surrounded by incredibly inspiring people.
Yeah, me too. I feel very blessed and very humbled for speaking to you all. Thank you, Samantha. Lovely chats. Thanks to everyone who's listening to our podcast and watching our YouTube videos. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you so much for having me.